Theater! Hi, I'm Paige, Christian knockoff Jenny Nicholson, and I'm here to fix the Church Play Cinematic Universe using the power of charts. At the end of Jenny's Church Play Cinematic Universe video, she said something that made me feel really sad.
Having seen them all, I think my main takeaway is that the Easter story actually makes for a pretty bad play, like narratively. At least it is if the Christ figure is the protagonist, which he always is. I don't know, in the future maybe they should pull from Bible stories that have a more traditional narrative structure.
Jenny, I don't blame you in the slightest for this take. Church of the Rock, though. Let's chat. We're gonna do a Christian theater workshop, and I am dressed for the occasion. Our contemporary traditional narrative structure is this, the 3-act structure, outlined by Sid Field in the 80s in his book Screenplay, The Foundations of Screenwriting. 3-act structure has dominated movies for the past 30 years. But you're on YouTube, baby. You've seen videos. You cried when every frame of painting closed their channel. I was there with you. You don't need this 3-act, highly monetizable popcorn movie garbage. You're thinking about Joseph Campbell. Well, let's talk about Joseph Campbell. There is another major storytelling template that predates the publication of 3-act structure by 30 years. Something that hits the same beats as 3-act, but is arguably even more universal and traditional. Something for ancient narratives, because it's a circle. Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. Oh yeah! And the pretentious among us, I know you know, and I'm proud of you. And you're so smart, and you're so creative. And that project you're working on, it's guaranteed to take off. Okay, that would have stupefied my ego for about 20 seconds. All right, I'll try. Go. For the unknowing and likely more personable among us, the hero's journey is a model for what Campbell called the monomyth, which is the bare essentials, narratively and tropically, of a heroic story. And it also easily maps on to 3-act structure. And there's a comment about how there's 16 instead of 17 stages. They're up. I've simplified my hero's journey for this project and for symmetry's sake, and I'm also going to use terms that don't really need much introduction. I have seen much unwarranted hate for the hero's journey. Oh, every story used for it is the same. No, this is just a wheel. If it's well-formed, it gets you where you need to go. The quality of the journey then depends on which road you take. And with this wheel, you can move a few things around, or you could even take a few pieces off, but if someone were to say, slice the bottom half off of it, it probably wouldn't hold up very well. Okay, how does this pertain to those wacky church plays? Well, Jesus is a hero, and he went on a journey. The Passion narrative is the traditional narrative structure. The Passion narrative and the hero's journey map perfectly. You can move a few things around depending on what you want to emphasize, but the ending is solidly mapped on. I'd even argue that the amount of nuance that you can have with this story is a testament to just how strong of a narrative the Passion story is. It's a synthesis of all the myths that came before it and the template for every story that came after it. It's a limit story. You can't get past it. Unfortunately, Church of the Rock has sliced off the bottom half of their wheel. Let's look at Lion King of Judah first, their most recent play, the fullest expression of their narrative chops. As a church passion play, as a reboot of medieval morality plays, The Lion King has potential to work really well. Easy Christ figure in Simba, Scar is a Miltian Satan through and through, and then you have the Remember Me moment with Hans Zimmer's amazing score, and the angelic lion shows up in the clouds, and Simba's crying, and I'm crying, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now. And then they turned him into a comic relief character.
Like Buffalo?
Sure. Spicy buffalo wing cheetah burger, fully loaded. Aim for the bushes!
A bold choice for your God the Father figure, but even worse, they don't do anything with Simba. Church of the Rock's Christ figures just dork around until the crucifixion just hits them out of nowhere. Which is very funny. But it also makes for very bad passion play. Here the source material isn't the problem. Church of the Rock just isn't telling the story very well. So let's use our charts and fix it. I charted 3 Church of the Rock plays onto the hero's journey. This is what Lion King of Judah looks like. All the yellow touches is something that Church of the Rock has omitted. As you can see, the whole bottom half of the wheel has fallen off. But don't you worry, we don't need to call AAA. I got my wrench. I got my jack opinions. We're gonna fix this wheel! Fix this wheel! We're gonna fix this wheel! Fix this Wait, there are a lot of spokes missing and we've only got 40 minutes of show time, so we need to fix the ones that really matter. Like the reversal. Lion King already has a great reversal. Timon and Pumbaa tempt Simba to stay back in Hakuna Matata instead of returning to Pride Rock. Church of the Rock removes this. I don't know why. My guess to their mentality is Jesus is perfect, so our Christ figure needs to be perfect. But their perfection is milquetoast. Here's how I would fix it. After resisting temptation, Simba returns back to Pride Rock. He realizes that Mufasa's death is a sin and someone needs to atone for it. And after your rock battle, he can go down willingly and be crucified to an Adele ballad, thinking that either himself is a murderer or that he's dying in the murderer's place. Easy biblical illusion. The traditional narrative structure is already your source material. Just give your Christ figure a struggle and you've got yourself a show. Let's fix another one. The Princess Bride of Christ has many moments that I simply would not change.
I think the whole world's addicted to the drama. Put on a brand new shirt.
Let's just make sure our Christ figure is motivated. Again, there is no reversal. Wesley doesn't learn anything and he doesn't change. He just loves Buttercup and then he dies and he comes back, blah, 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 blah. If the resurrection isn't motivated, it doesn't have any power. Open on As You Wish. Show that Wesley cares about Buttercup so that when he meets Humperdinck, he's meeting his shadow self. Wesley cares for Buttercup, Humperdinck does not. The knife in the chest reversal for a love story is betrayal. Buttercup needs to choose Humperdinck over Wesley. Choose the world over choosing love. I feel a little silly explaining this because this seems like the bare minimum, but the bare minimum just isn't getting done. Maybe you guys just haven't been exposed to these things before? Or have you? Or have you? Now, the heartbroken Wesley is brought into the pit of despair and told to curse Buttercup, but he would rather die than curse her name. And then he can be resurrected through the power of love. It's all right there for you. Have you just not assessed stories before? I mean, that's a little concerning because Christianity is a narratively based tradition. Just please don't skimp out on the element of sacrifice. Like in Joy Story, where again, there's no reversal, there's no sacrifice, there's no savior. Lotso's ideology is compellingly delivered until he's revealed to effectively be the devil. By making him categorically evil, you imply that his arguments are so flawed, so far gone, that the only way to contend with him is to kill him. That is a wildly unfortunate crucifixion story. The audience members who resonated with Lotso, they haven't been contended with, they've been brutalized. They were only allowed to speak until they could be met with force. That's not Christ's way. Maybe they were trying to exhibit the wrath of God. I don't know, we can do better. The toys pontificate about Andy and if he exists and what role he plays in their lives. And Lotso delivers his ideology, Iron Man that guy, make his arguments as strong as possible, make this man Nietzsche. Now here's our reversal. Andy comes and throws Lotso in the trash. And then Buzz throws himself in the trash to save Lotso. Imagine Dragons blares, the chorus builds and then falls. Suddenly, a red splash against the back. The wrench, it's pulling both Buzz and Lotso up, and they're encapsulated inside of a giant papier-mâché hand. Andy's hand. The two are restored to their friends, and Lotso asks Buzz, why would he save someone who disagrees with him so much? And Buzz can reply that he loves him, and that Andy loves him too. And Lotso doesn't really know what to think about this because, well, Andy just threw him in the trash. But Buzz's actions have spoken louder than words. Lotso wants to know more about the toy who saved him. And then they all dance. Laying down one's life for your friends, that's far more powerful than a laser gun. While trying to find the plays, I watched some of the sermons to get a feel of what the church is like, and this came up.
There was a cultural anthropologist by the name of Joseph Campbell, and in 1949 he wrote this book. It was called Hero with a Thousand Faces, and he found out that they all had one basic storyline, and so he called it the monomyth.
So you guys know this and you're not using it? And you claim to know the Christ narrative. Why are neither of these coming through in your plays? These plays have brought in people who otherwise would have never listened to your message. But you're messing it up. I know these stories are for kids, but so are the Disney movies that you're templating these off of. And Disney did it better. Joy Story in particular is just extremely upsetting to me. I know that Lotso is a caricature, but there are people who resonated with him. I'd even argue that in her video, Jenny seemed to resonate with him. People are hearing their thoughts represented in his words. So to make this character, your non-believer, the irreconcilably evil Emperor Zurg, well, it kind of breaks my heart. Lotso wasn't a character. He wasn't a person to be engaged with and have a relationship with. He was just an ideologue that needed to be taken out. And that's really too bad. We can do so much more with this story. But the church plays will go on. So as proof of concept, here's a pitch. Free of charge, Merry Christmas, Church of the Rock. From me, for Jenny, here's Avatar, the Way of Living Water. The core theme for Way of Living Water will be fulfillment of law. There will be the human law, which is cold and Machiavellian, and then there'll be the Na'vi law, which is spiritual, but requires great sacrifice. We start at the call to adventure. Humans have long ago crash-landed on Pandora. They are in conflict with the native Na'vi. Among them is a human named Jake, who preaches peace between the two nations. And then we're gonna need some song choices here. You guys always knock it out of the park with the song choices. I'll just try to anticipate some of them for fun. At the beginning here, I'm going to do Danger Zone. I imagine one of the pastors really wanted to do Top Gun instead of Avatar, and so this song was their concession to him. Then we'll move into Meeting of the Mentor, where Jake meets Natiri, and the Ikron can make its first appearance, and Jake and Natiri perform a ton of lyric changes in the song, Pray with All the Colors of the Wind. I feel like that one was a gimme. Trying to keep this short, so we'll skip through the road of trials straight into the final trial. Here, Jake meets the Na'vi chieftain, who explains that all evil on this planet must be atoned for by sacrifice. Without this sacrifice, the water will go away, the world tree will wither, and everything will die. The humans have brought much evil into the world, and they're not paying for it, which is causing all of the water to dry up. Jake returns back to the human base, where he speaks to the commander for the meeting of the shadow self. The commander tells Jake that might makes right, and that the sacrifices of the Na'vi are a sign of weakness. The commander is played by the youth pastor, who will now sing a rendition of La Rue's Bulletproof, which is like popular on TikTok right now, I think. And the lyric changes will be things like, oh, let me get my youth pastor energy. Been there, done that, touched the ground, came to Pandora safe and sound. We're the heroes of humanity. The Bulletproof lyric, of course, will stay the same. Have they already done this one? It feels like a pick they'd make. We're going to skip Ordeal and Reward and go straight into reversal, Warflames. The refusal of the return will be the Na'vi and the humans deciding to go into war with each other. Now we have the aid from without. Jake will escape on the Ikron, maybe to a reprise of Pray with All the Colors of the Wind. He comes to the world tree and he's baptized. And they can just use the church baptismal, and then at the end of the sermon they can have a call to baptism, and the pastor can baptize people in Pandora. Body paint will be leaking into the baptismal water. Okay, so I've knockoff Jenny Nicholson mind right now. That's primed me for a very important question. Has anyone ever been baptized in a Disney park? I bet the answer is yes. Here we have Dark Night of the Soul. War is at hand. The humans and the Na'vi are fighting. Here I'm going to address a kind of odd omission from these plays. Children. The Na'vi will all be played by adults, and then the humans will all be played as children to make the height difference. Then all the kids can like pantomime to whatever the actors are saying on their headsets backstage, and all the kids will have to wear little helmets so you can't see their faces, so it makes it even more convincing. All the kids are pretending to shoot the pastor. Happy Easter! We're gonna go nice and easy here with Taylor Swift's Bad Blood, but I see it as an ensemble piece with them tagging off between different sides for different parts of the song. We have reached Sacrifice. Death on a Tree. At the climax, Jake runs into the middle of the battle and he separates the two sides and begs them to stop fighting and instead be baptized in the tree's waters. Both sides will get all upset at him and decide to crucify him, because everybody on stage needs to be involved with the crucifixion. Crucifixion Lament will be Bleeding Love, and it's played completely straight. If you could get some onstage blood, that would be very impressive. For the resurrection, the tree can glow, and maybe they've rented some fountains and put them in the bottom of the baptismal. Jake returns to life! He's resurrected in an avatar body through the power of sacrifice. Jake is now the master of two worlds, and he's able to mediate between the humans and the Na'vi for peace, and he declares that the spirit and the law are fulfilled. All that's left is freedom to live. And it's a dance number. Oh, the song. Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande's Rain on Me. I didn't ask for a free ride. I only asked you to show me Christ. And I once was dead, but now I'm alive. Baptize me, baptize me, which they can reprise at the end of the service when they have the baptismal call. Please, just for that. Though, to be perfectly honest, Church of the Rock 2023, my money's on Super Mario. It's time. And it would either be Savior Mario or Super Mario Brothers in Christ. I am delighted to see you here at the end. I Opine, episode 3, Thrifting and Guns. Come see how we decided to merge those two topics. Maybe get in a little argument. If you like the charts I used for this video and you want to use them for your own projects, whatever, I'd be happy to send them to you. There's one condition though. You have to pitch me a Church of the Rock play. It needs to use the hero's journey, and you need to have at least 3 song choices in there. Submissions will be in the comments for this YouTube video so everybody can read them. I'll pin a comment with the format for the answer. If you've got 10,000 characters, you can definitely do it in that. Oh, just don't do Super Mario, because if they decide to do that one, I want to go in blind. I am rather excited to see what people come up with. All right, get your homework.